Hi, Bob McCauley, owner of the Watershed Wellness Center, watershed.net. I want to talk about this debate between Dr. Mercola and Dr. Gabriel Cousens that happened on the with the Great Health Debate, Kevin Gianni on that website. Um, I was really excited about this. I thought this was really going to be a great, interesting debate. These two heavyweights supposedly were going to get together and decide for us once and for all whether somebody should belong on a vegan diet, a plant-based diet, or animal-based diet. And well, I mean, I came away from it. If I would have never known anything about veganism or health and health in general and natural health, I wouldn't have known what to think coming away from this thing. It was boring. It was very technical. I heard a sort of like, well, this is yeah, I know this. I know this all this technical information here. Yes, I know about carnosine. Well, I'm not sure about this carnosine. Please send me some information about it. I mean, I know more technical stuff than you do, so I know more about the subject and type of thing. And I've said for years we get lost in the technical because the average person doesn't care about anything technical regarding health. They just want to know really what works. And what we came away from with this debate, if you want to call it a debate, was that who knows whether veganism is really good or not, and we'll continue to discuss it. There's really I'm going to not only give my opinion here and tell you how vegans make a big mistake. And vegetarians make a big mistake and what they're missing from their diet and where people go wrong. I was overall really pretty disappointed that Gabriel really didn't defend veganism at all, and it was one of the reasons why it was so boring. I thought some sparks would fly here at a certain point. It was nothing. It was just really a couple of guys sort of giving their point of view and this point of view and arguing over technical things and I mean, I didn't even get the idea that either one of them were authorities on the subject. One thing that Mercola said that's 100% true is we should get our nutrients from whole foods. Okay, I agree with that 100%. We should get and that's where I get my nutrients, from whole foods. I don't really take any supplements. He said he took a handful or something. I don't take any supplements at all. We don't need to. Um, and just so we're clear, we belong in a vegan diet. What kind of diet? A raw food vegan diet. I heard over and over and over throughout this so-called debate that there's no one great diet for everybody. Everybody's different. Well, everybody's different because they have different lifestyles and they eat different foods. But what do we all belong on? We all belong on a raw food diet. You don't find any evidence of chronic disease in the wild. I've been saying this for years. I've been challenged over and over. Everybody's going to send me the information, show me where these chronic diseases exist in the wild, and no one has ever shot a deer out in the middle of nowhere, brought it back, and found it full of cancer, fibromyalgia, diabetes, or any of the other chronic diseases that you find throughout our society. We are the only species that gets sick at all and from chronic diseases, not viral or not bacterial. Those are different. Those you will find in the wild. But on a chronic disease, we're the only species in the world that gets sick on chronic diseases, other than the animals we domesticate and put on a cooked food, processed food, puppy chow, cat chow diet. So, the evidence is right there in front of you. So I'll challenge everybody right now. If you have the evidence that, yes, I see a study that animals in the wild, truly wild animals, have all these chronic diseases, send me the study, send me the evidence, send me the news story, and I got to tell you, you're not going to do that. 10, 15 years now, I've been challenging people to do that, and I've never come up with anything. We all belong in the same diet because we are 999% genetically identical to one another. It is that last 1/10,000th of a percent that gives us different weight and height and skin color and all this kind of stuff. So during this debate, and that's why we all belong ultimately on the same diet. Now, how you're going to get there is going to be a little different because, well, you've lived on McDonald's your whole life, or you've had a really heavy fish diet your whole life, or a very heavy cooked food diet. Maybe you're exposed to a lot of environmental toxins. So getting there might be a little different. But what do we ultimately belong on? A raw food vegan diet. Period. Now, they pay homage to raw foods during this debate. Yeah, they're important. They're good to have. I don't want to pay homage to them here. I want to tell you this is exactly what we belong on, raw fruits and vegetables, and that's it. Now, where people go wrong in And by the way, that is not an end all into itself. You eat raw foods and then you'll be completely healthy. There's other things. There's water. There's spirulina and chlorella. I'm going to talk about those in just a moment here. There's extra minerals and becoming mineralized. There's probiotics. There's vigorous exercise, keeping a positive mental attitude. There's all these things that go together if you really want to be healthy. So the raw food diet is not just a panacea into itself, but the body can cure itself of any disease, and there's nothing that we can't overcome if we really are determined. And that's my health protocol. So where do people go wrong? Number one, very quickly, they don't put enough variety of raw fruits and vegetables in their diet. And if you've got all sorts of challenges with, you know, yeast or any kind of overgrowth, stay away from the sugar. If you got cancer, stay away from the sugar, and you can go back to that later on once your body's begun to heal itself. Other than that, just a wide variety of raw fruits and vegetables. I eat anywhere from, say, probably 150, 200, 250, maybe 300 different foods every year, sometimes very, very small amounts of those foods, but it's all about variety. I can tell you right now, I have at least 100 foods in my diet throughout the year that I constantly have in there all the time. And, you know, I just love it. I mean, that's where and you don't have to worry about combining this with this. Your body will know what to do with it. I don't believe in eating one food at a time, one pepper or one onion or anything like that. So that's the first place people go wrong. They want to go on a fruit diet. They're fruitarians. It's a big mistake. You definitely need, nutrients is going to come from the whole plant world. And the second place where people come wrong, and they talked about this, and I found this discussion fascinating. And they were really, they kind of ate around the edges of it. But where people go wrong is protein. Where are you going to get your protein? We don't need a lot of protein. But we do need high quality protein with a lot of different amino acids in it. That would be spirulina and chlorella, two types of algae, the most powerful foods in the world. Gabriel kind of said, well, which one should you eat? See how the taste and see how you feel with it. Here we go again. They both belong in your diet. They're completely different foods. If you think that spirulina and chlorella are identical, you're completely wrong. Chlorella is a green algae. It is a true algae, and spirulina is a blue-green algae. It's a cyanobacteria. It's totally different from spirulina and from chlorella in so many different ways. The nutritional profiles will look very similar. But if you just want to look at them as your protein source, yes, they're highest in protein, highest in nucleic acids, highest in chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is our most important nutrient. I say this all the time. So, they began to talk about, chlorella and spirulina, which one to take. As I said, both. Don't worry about how it makes you feel. The taste, I recommend tablets. I mean, the taste of both of these are terrible. Spirulina in particular is really awful. I can't believe people stir that powder up and eat it. I can't take it, but that's what the tablets are there for. And it really, it allows you to take in a whole food, the most powerful food in the world, and use that for your protein. Spirulina and chlorella are 60% protein. So I tell people all the time, if you take a small handful of spirulina and or chlorella with everything you eat, that's all the protein you're going to need for that meal. And that's it. And if you do that, you'll be successful on a vegan diet. And the discussion at this point really it's over. And there's nothing more to be said. But here they kept talking around spirulina. Dr. McCauley says, oh, I was shocked to see the amount of iron in chlorella. And, I couldn't believe it. I mean, what, did he stop taking it at that point? And then Gabriel Cousens says, well, the iron remains bound with the chlorella because it has binding aspects to the chlorella, so it doesn't come out. I don't know what about spirulina, because spirulina doesn't have these aspects, and spirulina really is even higher in iron than chlorella. And I want to remind you, there's an iron molecule at the center of every red blood cell in our body. So we need a lot of iron. And now Gabriel says, well, I see iron is an oxidant. Iron oxide is an oxidant. But iron in a raw food is bioavailable. Your body's going to take it in. If it's a natural raw food, your body will take in that iron, it'll use what it needs, it'll store the rest. If it can't store it or it has enough, it'll get rid of it. You're not going to find an abundance of one mineral or one nutrient in your body when you go on a raw food diet. And that's what both of these people misses. And Gabriel in particular, I was really disappointed that he didn't defend veganism. I mean, people came away from this thinking, I don't know what, I guess the debate's still open. Well, I want to end the debate. Mercola is 100% wrong. He's big into, all sorts of animal protein. He says he eats raw eggs every day. I have no problem with raw meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. That's fine if you eat it from raw organic. Really hard to find. And who eats raw meat, fish, eggs, and dairy? We don't. We always cook our animal protein. Now, this is the really crux of the point about why animal protein is so dangerous for you. And I was just, I'm shocked that people don't talk about this. And I was just really shocked that Gabriel didn't get in there and defend veganism more. I'll tell you right now, when you take an animal protein, say it's a protein structure, and this is why you can cook spirulina and chlorella. I don't recommend it. You can cook spirulina and chlorella, and it's not going to cause you the kind of damage and the kind of health problems that cooking animal protein will. Because animal protein has already been formed, amino acids have been formed into protein chains. They're locked with each other. And then what happens is you apply heat, especially if it's very high heat. And heat is a chemical reagent. So what it does is it really destroys this. And I was, I've read lots of books, through all my studies, and I read one really boring book called Healing with Amino Acids. Now, that book, you get in there about halfway through it, suddenly it starts talking about how heat totally changes the structure of a protein. And that's what, and how it binds together, and it really destroys it and produces all these acrylamides and all these things and all these other substances that before weren't there. And so this is why the two things that cause more disease than anything is dehydration of the body, people don't drink enough water, and cooked animal protein. So if you're going to eat, your raw eggs every day, and Gabriel then said, hey, be careful about the salmonella. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you're going to find all these farm fresh eggs and all this kind of stuff. If you can find it and you want to eat them, fine. I have no problem with it. I don't see any necessity for it. People want to drink raw goat's milk and that kind of stuff. That's fine. I don't have anything against it. But I don't know. There's nothing in there you need that you're not going to get from the plant world, period. Because where are those animals getting its food? Well, they're getting them from the plant world. So with the essential fatty acids, the krill oil, and all these other fish oils that Mercola has always promoted, you can get those from seeds. I mean, you can get them from algae. That's where a lot of fish get their essential fatty acids. The body can't produce those. An animal can't produce essential fatty acids. They're essential. They come from the outside. So yeah, this protein structure that has been cooked and changed, this is the thing that causes so much damage, and why you need to stay off of an animal-based diet and go to a plant-based diet anchored with the two most powerful foods in the world, spirulina and chlorella. So the debate is over, and anyway, I'm kind of disappointed that it ended up the way it did. But anyway, this is Bob McCauley. See you next time.